has it been so far, and what has this last year been like for you?
It's been cool to get back. Great to see the guys. Wasn't with them last year. Great to get back to football. It's what I love, and so it's been pretty sweet.
How has it gone on the field in terms of getting back into the football side of things?
Nervous the first day. He hadn't played football in a while, and hadn't talked to dudes in a huddle, right, which is a huge thing. And you're relaying the play to them. A lot of nerves first day, but it's gone. I wouldn't say seamlessly, but it's gotten better each day. Just like like you try to make it.
Stetson, what can you tell us about what happened in that gap from when you were here to when you weren't?
I was home, and as far as what led to that, what transpired and all that, I think we're going to keep that in house. But it was good. Went back home, and thank goodness that Les and Coach McVay and everybody involved, allowed me to do that.
How often did you talk to the coaches?
A few times. Not, they had their job to do. I was watching them every week, and but not that often.
Did you expect to be back?
Yeah.
How did the decision come about to step away? Like, how did you guys reach that decision?
There was a bunch of talks, and as far as the specifics, again, we'll probably keep that between us. But it was a discussion between everybody, and then that's what we got to.
Was that a difficult decision?
Yeah, of course it was. But one we thought, I guess, necessary at the time, and so yeah.
Forgive me, but were you safe? Were you okay?
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that thinks kind of what you've gone through, and now that you're back, that you can use as other people can use as maybe a learning experience or a model for how to handle?
I don't know. I think it was very specific, to me, and in a generic sense, like hopefully, I think it's made me stronger and all that stuff, but it's hard to say what other people can or will. All I know is that I'm doing the best I can every day to get better, and if something comes of what happened last year, then so be it.
What did you learn about yourself?
I don't know. I don't know if I learned anything that you can just say that you learned something, right? I don't know.
Why was stepping away the right decision for you?
It we just felt like it was.
What do you feel like that reset did for you, Stetson, and that time away again?
Well, it showed me, how, love football, excited to come out here every single day. You get to kind of see the world for the first time without football, like first time ever. What that might be like, whatever, you just don't have it, right? And so you kind of come out here and you're hungry every single day, and I don't know. It did make me, like, hey, this is, you want to do this and you want to work hard every single day and get better. But it was different without it.
How did you know you were ready to rejoin the team?
Well, I'd say that one's probably, piss or get off the pot. You kind of had to get back, at some point. So, yeah.
When you were looking at football for the first time in a very long time, not being part of it,
right?
What was the emotion? Did it scare you? Did it concern you?
You're talking about when I was away or
when you were away? When you said you looked and saw this, I'm not around football for the
right.
first time.
I'd say at first I didn't really, I just kind of got away, and then you start getting curious again, and you start watching it with the eye, and start thinking about it that way. It's hard to turn off whenever it starts going again. I saw it for I think how I've always seen it, just a beautiful game that create relationships with your teammates, and then you go and you compete against the best, right, and find out if you can, which I'm excited to get back to doing.
Did the love of this game motivate you to get back?
Yeah, of course, yep. Love this game, loved it since You grew up hearing my granddad tell stories about it, and trying to teach me something in the kitchen, right? And so yeah, you kind of got back to that.
Last one, guys. Without respecting the fact that you don't want to get into specifics, would it be accurate to say that it fell under the umbrella of mental health, just improving your mental health?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, good. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks for-
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
welcome back.
Thanks for making the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Stu?
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good.
How are you?
All right. Good. Good start. Ready to roll.
Chris, how do you define the difference between taking what you grew up in, whether it was Wade Phillips or Raheem, to what your thumbprint will be on this defense?
I think it's all about the players. So, we obviously have a lot of new guys that we're onboarding right now, and we have some, guys that obviously weren't here with Wade. Wade, we were, especially our, second and third year with Wade, we had some pretty experienced guys and, just completely different time in the league. And now you're adjusting to the different evolution of the league. Obviously, there's a lot more tempo, there's a lot more motions, there's a lot more stuff like that you have to adjust to. And it's that, and you're just emphasizing your player strengths. So right now we're just trying to get the foundation of our stuff installed and finding out what these guys do well and finding out what we can execute.
Based on the off-season moves, we understand where some of the veterans fit in, obviously, but it looks like you guys are still trying to figure out that big nickel star. What goes into that evaluation with what you specifically want to do with that position? And what are some qualities that you're seeing from some of the guys that have rotated through there so far?
Yeah, Russ and DK have been doing a great job kind of switching in that spot. And, it's always a spot that there's a lot of nuances to it. It's a guy that's got to be smart. He's got to understand the defense. A lot of stuff goes through that guy, and he's got to be able to tackle. He's got to be able to hit blocks. But that's all 11 on defense. So, we're just looking for the best mix of guys, and those guys have been doing a great job so far.
How is Jared Verse so far?
He's been great. He's been as advertised. He loves football. He's a passionate guy. He loves coming in every day. He works really hard. He works really hard in Indy. He wants to learn, and he showed that he's extremely coachable. And he had a good first week last week, and we'll see the tape today. But it seemed like it was another good day.
What stood out to you watching the film, evaluating before the draft about Verse and Fisk and the
That
way they play together?
They both, you could tell that they both love football and they both play really hard. And that was, what we were, in the draft with what we were targeting. We want guys that love football. And usually those are the guys, just knowing since I've been here, the last 7-8 years. And the guys that love football and that are smart and tough and play hard, those are usually guys that typically pan out and get the most out of their talents and their abilities. And the nice thing is with those guys that they have a lot of talent as well. So hopefully it keeps going that direction.
How do you evaluate that love of football?
It's part of a lot of the stuff with the scouts. You can see it on tape, and then a lot of the stuff with the scouts with their, deep dives and talking to the coaches and doing all the background stuff. And, with those guys, it was pretty easy to see how they run to the ball. It's hard to not love football when you play like that with that type of effort.
You've known Darius a long time at this point. What's it like having him back here? Is he the same kind of Darius?
He is and he's not. He's obviously way more experienced. I remember when he got onboarded, I think it was 2018 in the middle of the season, and no one really knew who he was. We weren't really sure, and then he started playing really well on scout team, and we were like, wow, this guy's got a chance. And it's been a really cool to see the trajectory of his career. And then to see him kind of come full circle. He's got a daughter now, and just see how he's matured. And, he feels almost like, a mentor to the young guys, where I saw him in that spot where Aqib, Talib, and Marcus and those guys were kind of mentoring him. And, he's kind of taken that role now. So it's been really cool to see.
When you talk about someone with more experience versus a rookie, other than just their knowledge of the playbook, how do you see that on a daily basis in the practice field of when someone is taking that stuff?
Yeah, it's you just see it really with how they go out. We talk about being a professional. It's just about having that routine and understanding, and you just understand it's just the guys that are experienced just have that many more reps accumulated, and there's nothing you can do to replace that. And you still see them flashing as a rookie and stuff, but then there's always going to be stuff where there's going to be growing pains. The NFL game, I don't think it's any secret, is a little bit different than the college game, I think, with where some stuff's evolved. Now, obviously, there's some stuff that's the same, but there's always going to be stuff that's a new experience and learning a new defense. And, when you get a guy, I know Tre'Davious White hasn't been out here yet, but when you get a guy like that, he has so many experiences. he can kind of learn and put it like, say, like, oh, this is just like or as, whereas like this is like or as what we did in Buffalo. Whereas some of these guys that are brand new, as far as rookies, they might be hearing something for the first time, might be completely different from anything they've done before.
How might what Darius was asked to do in Jacksonville allow you to use him differently compared to the first time you worked with him?
We're going to use his strengths. It was interesting in Jacksonville watching a bunch of his tape. He played off a lot, pressured a lot, played some more zone and stuff. And, he's a guy that can do it all. So, we'll see what we want to do and, how they keep rotating. He's doing a great job so far.
No pads, obviously. But going back to Hurst and Fisk and then throw Kobe in the mix too, it seems like there's so much play energy out there. Sean, we kind of heard him complimenting the energy and the level. It seems like up front they already are trying to set that tone. You feel that from them, and as young players,
I definitely
you
felt
pull
it
it
today.
back a little bit.
Definitely felt it today. It's always that fine line of practicing the right way, but also having that edge and that energy. Aubrey Pleasant said it in his DB meeting the other day, and it's true. It's hard to have a bad defensive practice when you have great energy. That's what defense is about. Playing with great energy, and we talk about our core fundamentals, effort to the ball, killing blocks, tackling takeaways, and that's what we want to be about. And we talk about having great energy. It seemed like the front really brought that today.
As you guys are building the pass rush plan out, do you still feel like it's something that's more of like a outside-in approach, or is it maybe more of a committee, obviously understanding who you lost in?
Yeah, those guys, it's always going to be a committee approach, I think. With it. It's always going to be, as far as it's going to be a little different coming up with the plans, not having Aaron Donald out there. But it's always going to be a committee approach and emphasizing those guys' strengths and having those guys rush as a unit and rush together.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Looks like you guys are testing Jordan Whittington quite a bit, just kind of seeing what he can do. I guess, how do you feel about what he's learned in the meeting room and how he's maybe applying it on the practice field?
Yeah, you can tell he's, first of all those rookies, we're throwing him in a lot of different spots, in a lot of different situations, maybe some a little bit more than others. But he's doing a great job. You can tell he's really taking what he's learning in the classroom to the field. I said it last year about Puka, but how beneficial for a young receiver to be in that room with a guy like Yarbs, and then obviously guys like Cooper Kupp and now Puka going into year 2. And it's what a blessing it is for those guys to be around people like them.
How's Steve doing so far at center, and in seeing some interactions in between snaps, and then also like in the stretch line, Sean coming over talking to him? It seems like he's wanting to be a sponge there.
Yeah, oh yeah, he loves ball, and things are never going to be too big for him, right? And good or bad, he's just going to move on to the next play and learn from it. Everything about the spring is learning ops, right? And so he's out there. He's surrounded by, obviously, Jonah hasn't been out there in the level that we want for obvious reasons. But being around him in the walkthrough settings, obviously, just being around that entire unit has just been big for him. And like I told him a few months ago, he's not alone in this, just because he's moving from guard to center, and there's a little bit more communication responsibility. The left tackle to the right tackle to the tight ends, us as coaches and everyone in between, we're going to be in this with you, and we'll battle with it.
Mike, with Stetson back, but having missed that year, what do you want to see from him specifically in OTAs and camp?
Yeah, just to come out here and put his best foot forward every single day. It's been a pleasure working with him. He's in, I'm not going to get too much into specifics, obviously, but he's in a good place, and he is out here. I think he is. I know he's done a great job being a sponge. Dave Ragone's done a tremendous job getting these guys prepped. We get that developmental period at the end where he gets the 8 extra reps right there, and so he's come to work every single day focused with the intent of getting better, and that's all you can ask these guys. Just if their intent is right, which Stetson's is right now, that's all you can ask, and it's definitely showing.
With Garoppolo not eligible to play the first 2 games, how important is it at this point, the way the roster's set up, to have Bennett in a situation
Yeah,
where he's
totally. I
backing
mean,
up?
you never know when it could happen. Obviously, we want number 9 out there for every snap, every time, and it's early, and there's no reason to think he won't be, but you never know what can happen, right? And so whether it be the quarterback, O-line, receivers, the backup's got to be ready to play, So what he's shown through, obviously, the 4th practice in phase 1 and phase 2, again, he's getting better every single day, and that's just going to be what's needed.
Luka spent some time with Cooper in the working out this off season. He's talking about how his body composition changed a little bit. Do you see that at all?
Oh, absolutely. I don't, I'm not the nutritionist. I'm not the one doing the body fat scans and stuff. I try to stay away from that thing anyway. So, but no, he definitely is put in the work, and you'll have to ask Puka about some stories in Cooper's front yard and stuff like that, because Cooper trains, and Puka does too, but it's really Puka's first off season as a true pro, right? That rookie, you're just spinning. You have so much. You get drafted. Next thing you know, you're already at a facility following the regiment that we have put forward. And I don't know how many weeks they took off, but it didn't seem like much, because when they were kind of walking around here in March and February, they looked good from just their body comp, and maybe that's what I need to do with those guys in the offseason.
Mike, go ahead, Sarah.
Do you see a difference in the plays he's able to make and improve his body control?
Yeah, I mean, again, football, it's best played with the pads on, right? I mean, that's real ball, but this is what we have, afforded to us right now, and particularly for Puka, when he has the pads on, that's when he really is going to shine, right? Because of his physical style, because of his mentality. With that being said, you can definitely see he's made strides. He's moving better. I know he feels more comfortable. He's in year 2, and that's what you expect from all the players. But that you're going to get it from Puka, because he's just made of the right stuff. His intentions are right.
This was our first time getting to see the new kickoff situation in terms of on-field, like how drills are going to work and everything. From your perspective, they're saying it's supposed to lead to more offense and et cetera, et cetera. So from your perspective, has that been odd? And how have you guys approached that as a group? And has Chase approached that in terms of setting you guys up for maybe more points?
It's definitely going to affect us as an offense. It's going to affect defense. It's going to affect the game at a level that we kind of know, but we don't really know. I'm going to leave that question more for Chase and Sean. I typically during that time am with the quarterbacks. We're getting ready for that developmental program, or I'm just kind of debriefing with Matthew. We did watch probably for the most, and it's different, and it's going to be it's not like we're at a disadvantage. All 32 teams are going through it, and no woe was me. We got to figure it out.
As you guys are putting together a plan for not only this backfield but the offense as a whole, what does it do for you to have a running back like Blake, who is kind of similar in skill set and stature to Kyron?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret, what kind of career he had in college. And I think what's most impressive about him, besides what he can do on the field and what he put on tape at Michigan, and really even since he's been here, is just what kind of a man this guy is. I mean, this is a grown dude. He's a sponge like a lot of these guys. His intentions are right, and again, you never want to put expectations on rookies. You just come out and you be the best you can be every single day in the meeting room, carry it to the field. He's done that thus far. I know that room, just in particular, Ron does such a good job with them, just his leadership and him being around the block, being around some incredible running backs throughout his career, dating back to college, and obviously what he did with Kyron last year. But no, it's good to have him, and again, the more competition you get, the better.
A couple more guys.
Sean acknowledged at the draft the other day after the first OTA of what's happening to some level behind the scenes with Matthew and his contract. Just curious if you've seen any difference in him, or if that's
no.
affected
I'll answer the second part of it, because no, Matthew, when he's at work, he loves being out on that field. And you guys, if you're watching today, you see the amount of fun this guy has. It is shows that it is still a child's game, and you just happen to make a lot of money being able to do something that he's been pretty good at. But no, when he's in the meeting room, when he's on the field, he's super positive. He's the same Matthew that I met a year ago. Cool part for me is that's above my pay grade in terms of what happens next with all that. So I know they're doing things the right way, and we'll go from there.
Mike, you've been a coordinator for a while, but this is your year 2 here with this group, and what do you know about this group, this ecosystem, the job itself specifically, that maybe going in a year ago you didn't quite know?
Yeah, just got good people. Not just the players, but this whole building. It's just good people. And I know I said that, and it was pretty clear to see a year ago, but a standard's been set by, ownership, by our head coach, by our GM, and the players thrive in that. And then the players are able to really take it over. They're able to correct themselves. They're able to coach themselves. They hold themselves at a very high standard, and it very rarely in my year here gets out of whack, So it's a cool place to, when you come into work, you're excited to do it, you know, because you want to help these guys in any way possible that you can because of just the feeling that you have when you enter the place. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, take care.